And we're live.
You got the wrong camera, bro.
No, I don't. We're live, bro. Right there on YouTube. So we're waiting for people to come in here on YouTube. There we go. We're live on Facebook as well. Ivan, what's good, fam? We are live. Let's go. We just waiting for a few people to get in here.
What's good? What's good? What's good?
Willie Smooth Cat, what's good, fam? Yo, let us know if you can hear us. We're just doing a quick audio test. Can you hear us good?
Here to let folks come on in.
Yep. Family, what's good, Ashton? Good to see you.
Are you on Facebook or Instagram? Facebook or YouTube?
Both.
I'm gonna go to the YouTube on my phone.
Cool. Dope. Can you hear Sticks? Is he like much quieter, or we're just trying to see how even the volume is? Say something, Sorrel.
Who?
Say something.
I don't know what you're talking about, family. We in here. We live. Can you hear me?
And are we both good at the levels we are? Is one louder than the other? We got Rohan. Greetings from Jamaica.
Oh wait, I'm gonna listen. Yeah, we both even.
Bro, you didn't even listen.
I did.
No, you didn't hear yourself say anything.
I did. Okay, watch.
Okay.
See,
yeah.
We good. I can hear it. I'll turn it down now.
Okay. Dorama the drummer, what's going on, fam? What's good, Joseph? What's good, Seth Jones?
Well, Dorama the drummer raw on the kit. If you did.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen some stuff
on Instagram.
Yeah, and I think I seen something on YouTube that he posted too.
Oh yeah, nice. If it's the same Dorama the drummer.
Well, I mean, if it's Dorama the drummer on YouTube that I shared, that I saw the video from on YouTube,
it's the same. Mine from Instagram.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's the same guy. He's
nice.
Killing? Willie Smooth Cat, Aaron Shields, Seth Jones.
So are you saying Dorama the drummer is now in the 99% of drummers that you say don't practice? He's a part of the 1% or the 2%?
Top 2%, top 2% that actually practice. But let me also say this: sometimes, I'm not saying him. Sometimes you can be deceived by people who have natural talent and makes you think they're practicing when they're really not. They're just better than everybody else.
I get it.
Like I know a few people in musicians and even in other fields where it's like you don't really practice. You're just better than so many different people. Like I know I was in the gym today and one of the homies, they was in there just dunking, right? Mm-hmm. And if you watch them dunk, you would swear, oh, these cats do jumping exercises. They be working and practicing on dunks. No, they was just in there having fun. But because they're one guy 6'4", the one he's 6'5", and another one 6'3". Okay. So because they're tall and they can jump a little bit, of course they can dunk. They was also on one of the lower rims. It's like 9.5, 9.8, not really 10. But the whole point of me saying that is, it looks like these cats be in there really working on how to get more hops.
Right.
And if you ask them, they're like, "Oh, nah, bro, I have to start dunking right now.
We don't really do this.
We don't do this on a regular.
We're still better than you, though.
Right. We can jump much higher than you can.
It'd be like that.
But no knock to Dorama the drummer. I'm not saying you're one of those guys. I'm saying that it's possible.
He's saying don't be fooled, man.
Don't be fooled by everybody.
Well,
Sam Campbell was in here.
Yes.
He says, Enrique.
Oh, my goodness.
Morning.
Wow.
But he forgot the signal check.
Signal check.
Blake the Great. Praise the Lord.
My
everybody. That's
God
what he wrote.
And the proper response is praise the Lord, Bishop. I wish I had 2 or 3 witnesses on today, but it looks like we have 13 witnesses, but only 5 likes, Bishop. There's only 5 likes with 13 witnesses. I believe that Jesus at least had 12 disciples, and we haven't even gotten that many likes. There's
Jesus can feed the 5,000 with 2 fishes.
Listen,
and 5 loaves
then
of bread.
you can hit the like button.
I mean, I need 5,000 likes with 2 followers and 5 on the
Willie Smooth Cat asked if we had the keyboard fired up. No, Bishop, and we wouldn't even fire up the keyboard because we have an organ in the house today.
We have oil,
and and I wish you were here to feel the tangible anointing of the Most High God.
We've been in church far too long, bro.
Hey, Willie Smooth Cat wrote in, hey, my God.
He felt something.
Oh, he felt something on today. Well, look, we haven't done this consistently, and so we should do it. Introduce ourselves. I am Damani.
Wow. Shit, we did. Finally
At the beginning, though.
I forget.
We got
drum coach somebody.
Yes, or you call him Sticks. I mean, actually, don't call him Sticks.
Yeah, Sticks is it.
I've been telling him not to. I've been telling him to drop that name for the longest.
Everybody calls me Sticks.
I know it's the problem. That's the problem.
I remember one year I was at NAM, or at a clinic by NAM, and the DBK clinic. Shout out to Drum Bass Keys, the homie. And I'm sitting next to Devin Taylor, and the girl come up and say, "Oh yeah, what's your name?" I was like, "Oh, Sticks," but she just got done talking to him like, "Sticks,
Devin,
what's going on?"
Sticks Taylor,
Yeah, Sticks. So it was just one of them like, yeah, similar situation.
Like all the other thousands of drummers named Sticks.
But all the people who have regular names is like, yo, how many drummers that are named Jeff play drums? A lot.
Yeah, I guess so. They need new names too.
I just don't put my government out there.
Shout out to Charles Edgar Gray. What's good? Shout out to Ty Freeman. Shout out to Evan.
Homie.
I don't want to pronounce your last name wrong, but he says evening, gentlemen. You felt something on that?
I felt something. Evening.
Now,
how come the live comments go away? I'm on YouTube. Okay, it's all good. Shout out to Ashton Nelson. My bad. He says Sticks to Levi with a Y. It's with an I, but it's all good.
I'm not gonna hold you, bro.
Hey, when I was first coming up with that name on Facebook, I was trying to find a Sticks that no one has used, and I wrote it with 3 X's.
And you, wow,
I did. I did when I first.
That's because you were spending too much time on the other sites.
No, I didn't know. I was like, I left it there too for like at least 2 hours. I was like, "Yep, Sticks, yeah." And I didn't have the Levi. Triple X.
XXX.com.
Listen, come get your strokes in. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
Come work on your double strokes. You feel me?
Oh,
preferably chocolate. That's what I prefer.
Wow.
But, whatever.
Wow.
Of the female type. I got to be specific these days. You can't say.
Oh my goodness.
So
you needed deliverance.
That part.
Hold on. We got Johnny Drummer J in the house on the Facebook side. We got Archbishop Joe Archie in the house. It says he joined. I don't know if he's still watching, but if he is, fam, what is good? Yeah,
the elder
of
the 9th Northern Region.
Yep, and Terrence Smith just joined us.
Church of
Listen, let's get to the sponsors so we can get straight into the topic.
More people to see this thing. I have more people to shout out, but when I'm watching it on live, the comments disappear.
I can see it right here though.
Okay.
It's not anybody new. We got Sam Campbell, we got Blake Gray, we got Ivan, we got Ashton, Peter Alvarez. He asked a question that
but Ivan said something great though. Who needs church service when you can watch the apostles? How about say? The money and
sticks.
You feel me? Who had the question?
Listen, you know what? And you can also send your tithes and offering this way, Bishop.
You know where you can put your tithes and offering in the offering basket of the Drum Tracks app.
Listen, it is offering time.
I mean, I didn't come here to preach a word on giving, but I do have the microphone, and you need to subscribe, become a user for our premium membership, where not only do you get access to all of the tracks, everyone gets that for free. You get to stream it.
Right.
You can download 5 tracks per month
for free.
And after that, it's half off per track.
Offline streaming, we didn't even talk about that. That means you don't need an internet connection to stream the tracks with a premium membership. And also, you get access to our full video library on the app. We have over 300 video drum lessons. Look, we're in the middle of getting ready to shoot some new stuff for the app too. I mean, new content is coming on a regular basis.
It's entirely too quiet in this place. I have no amens.
Listen,
I have no one yelling hallelujah.
And
y'all just don't want to praise him.
Listen, I've heard him say in the Baptist church, "Amen walls." Amen lights.
I'll preach to the lights.
Listen,
if y'all not
amen pews.
But
yeah. So
whoa, you hear that? I think that was a rock crying out, bro. I was trying to hold my face as long as I could with that one. Even she fell out. Even she fell out, bro. If you don't praise him, the rocks will cry out. Y'all know that.
Oh my goodness.
My God.
This guy, you are
Jacques in the building. What's good?
Oh, shoot.
That was great, wasn't it?
Bro, it's hot in here now. It's literally warm.
Oh, man.
This dude said, I think that was a rock.
That was a rock crying out, Brody.
Yeah, it's not like, listen, if y'all didn't grow up in church, you're probably wondering why that's so funny. It's a church joke.
Yes, sir.
They actually wrote an entire song where the lyric says, if I don't praise the Lord, the rocks will cry out. It's like a scripture in the Bible. It's hilarious. Oh my goodness. You good?
I'm about to see it's delayed, but I
mean,
so.
this will
solid.
All right, cool, man. Y'all know what it is. Drum Tracks app. Let's get to the topic, man. We're talking about getting paid as a drummer.
First thing you should do, quit the drums. That's number one.
I don't know why.
And you should get a job. Just let it go.
Because so you're basically saying, hey, just play the drums.
Yeah.
Go get a job.
Yeah, just play the drums. Just do it as a hobby, bro. Don't do it as a career. It's terrible.
I mean, it can be. I've seen people who are in bad situations.
Everyone that I know that makes money as a drummer doesn't play drums anymore. They play keys.
Listen,
all of them.
All of them. I would say this: there are multiple ways to make money playing drums. However, if drums is your only skill,
like we said, become the keyboard player. Go ahead.
Unless if you're playing in church, that's all day. But there's if all you do is play the drums, you'll realize soon that in 2019, going into 2020, you'll need some more marketable skills than just playing the instrument. Like you can get paid to play the instrument, but you'll be limiting yourself if all you do is play the instrument. Like if you can learn how to program, you can up your skill set in learning how to arrange. But so that might at a certain, and that isn't necessarily, when I say arrange, I'm not talking about playing other instruments, but being able to sequence inside of a sequencer and help.
You're talking about like Ableton.
Yes, production.
Ableton Live. I mean,
like production for shows.
Yeah.
If you can learn those skill sets, because it's about more than just like learning your instrument. You want to learn music, and when you learn music, you'll up your skill set and you'll be more useful, more valuable. Now, let's get into the ways you make money playing drums. Number one is gigs, but what kind of gigs? There's many different type of gigs that you can get, especially on a local level. So, because of course, everybody knows you'll get paid if you're playing the huge tours that you see the homie Eric Moore playing right now all across the world.
If you get a good contract,
right? Because some people are playing stadiums for $500 a show, which I know to some of you sounds great, right? $500 a show,
not in front of 10,000 people paying $40 a ticket,
or in front of 25,000 people, like
paying $100
more than a no chair right now,
$100 a ticket.
So, at the end of the day, if you're, I want to talk more like on the local level, because that's where a lot of the musicians that we're talking to are at. How can you make money? You can't. I think that playing in church is a way to do it. Because
the right church.
Right. I'm not. If your church is paying you $25, $50, $75, you can probably find somewhere else to be.
When I say the right, I want to be clear. I mean the correct. I don't want people thinking I said the white church.
Because they're not paying anyway. No.
Hey, listen. The churches I play at, man, they take good care of me, man. Shout out to them. Okay, they are all right with me.
And so when I say that playing at churches, the reason why I say it's cool to have a church gig is because it's consistent. It's week in and week out.
Come on.
Even if you got to miss a Sunday because you had another gig, when the next Sunday comes, they'll be right there. Especially if you have a good relationship with the people and you're good at what you do, you're a likable person, the whole nine. It just makes it easy. That's number one.
And it frees up your week too.
Right, and listen, you can do multiple.
Yep.
Churches.
Yeah.
You ain't got to just do one. Whoever told you that, I don't know what they were talking about.
It's a lie.
You can find you at 8:00. See, but then there's the 9:30. Sometimes all the time you'll find an 11.
Oh, that's the standard.
That's bread and butter.
Yeah.
You might be able to get, if you're really trying to work hard, you could find a I don't know, 6:30 or 7 p.m. evening Sunday service, where they have churches that still have evening service every week. But if let's just say as a drummer, let's just say you were getting the base minimum of $100, you know, per church.
That's if they like you. Because a lot of these drummers, especially when they're born in the church,
let me ask you this:
$50.
That's a church that they grew up at,
bro.
You're gonna have. I left the church that I grew up at to expand. You had to do the same. Everybody has to do that. First, okay, so if you grew up at a church and they are paying you $25 a Sunday or $50 a Sunday because you were there since you were, 7 years old playing drums,
Bruh.
leave.
$21.64.
But you don't play there anymore.
Doesn't
so
matter.
You're still hurt about it.
I need to go back
You're
to
hurt.
that
I
church
understand.
and
Listen,
ask for a few $1,000s.
you need to let go and let God have his way. Okay? Apparently, you are still hurt.
Oh, bro.
When you look back over your life.
I need my bills paid for the next 5 years.
Wow.
From them.
Let me ask you this. When's the last time that you have taken on a church gig regularly every Sunday, every week for less than $100?
Brody, listen.
When's the last time you've done that?
We're not talking about me.
What I'm saying, my point is, though, I'm trying to show them how possible it is. When's the last time you've done that?
2000.
Exactly, the year 2008. No, you said 2000.
2008.
2008.
2008.
Okay.
No. Oh, yeah. 8.
So for the last 11 years, you've been paid at minimum to play at a church weekly $100 at minimum. I mean, you get more than that, we know, but at minimum.
Oh yeah, bare men. Men. I'm not answering.
So I'm saying that to prove a point that you can find
100 after taxes.
Yeah, that part.
Because now they're taxing.
That part.
Also, let me interject here. Even if you don't believe in the whole church culture, you can still play a church gig. You treat it like a job. Most people go to jobs and hate it, but you can treat it like a job, still play the music, learn it, have fun on the drums. You don't have to support, whatever they're talking about, but you can still make money. Because some people, they just be like, nah, I ain't doing it, because they don't believe in the whole church and what they're talking about.
Well, if they feel like they don't want to, that's just them cutting off a stream.
Well, okay, yeah, you can be broke. Be broke unless you find something that pays out more.
Willie Smoothcat says he never got over 60. Like, listen, you're doing something wrong, Willie. You're doing something wrong.
Let me ask a question earlier. That sounds like a decent podcast. I don't know if we did it, but we'll get to the questions afterwards.
And you know what, though? I think, because one of the things he said, too, he says, dang, Six, I need to be where you're at. I think that sometimes location can have something to do with it. But like I mentioned in the last podcast, I don't always think that that's the case. I think you have to make yourself valuable. And I think one of the ways you do that, number one, is actually being really good.
Play keys.
If you're trying to make more than $100 or more than $150. But what I'm saying is this.
When's the last time you accepted a $200 main service gig for keys?
Oh, you mean like regular every week?
Like 11 a.m., $200. No. When have you ever accepted an 11 a.m. for $200? Think about it.
Back in 06,
exactly.
07.
Exactly. The bare minimum, like, you don't accept nothing less than 2.
I've never had
exactly
since
he's making $60, bro.
Yeah, but
$60.
But what I'm saying is that doesn't have to be the case.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
$60. They couldn't even give him a flat 100. Just wait, here's 60 for your trouble, son.
Right, but my this is why I'm having this conversation though, because you used to also get paid. How much was you getting paid at that afternoon service with Pastor Duracell?
You gonna throwing names out there, buddy. First of all, I was almost,
first of all, you was calling me to sell.
Listen. Back then, I was almost at 300 a Sunday.
How many churches was you doing? How many services?
I was at almost 300 a Sunday.
How many services?
So that's 60 times 5. I was making 5 times the amount he was making.
And you were playing 7 times the amount of services he were doing back in this is way back in the back in the day.
07, bro.
But 07. No, real talk though. I'm saying all this to say because you went from making that kind of money to what you're making right now.
Yeah.
And there's a progression. You're a much better drummer now than you were then. That plays a role.
Yeah, but I also boycotted too.
Yes, but that I
didn't publicly boycott.
Right. You stopped accepting it.
Yeah, I said I'm not gonna.
You set a standard for yourself.
Yeah.
But you were also
broke for like 10 months. Brody, I was at mom's and pop's house. not making a dime.
But you kept practicing though too.
Oh well, yeah.
And then but you're like I'm saying though, you're at this point, the drummer that you've become. What's so funny? What happened? What happened?
Reset 7 chemicals.
Charging an extra 75 for every bump we get into. Listen, Highlands will never hire him.
The Church of God in Christ will say, you know what, it's cool, son. We're not gonna have you here.
Listen, at the end of the day, and what we're talking about right now is just one area, one stream where you can get this bread, right?
Yeah. The drummer asked, it disappeared.
Okay, let's go.
Oh wait, I can just touch.
How many songs are we talking though? For example, what is considered good pay for 4 songs in a church? That's not how it goes.
It's paid by time.
It's not even. It could be. Usually, like there's a standard. Like if I go into if the service is an hour long, then yeah, I'm not gonna hit them with the same amount that I'm hitting them with for. But if that hour long service is still prime time 11 a.m., well, I mean, I'm saying though, it's prime time.
But you got to count rehearsals, and the service might be an hour long. But what if they have you show up an hour before that? So it's like, well, it's 2 hours on Sunday plus an hour or hour and a half on Thursday or Tuesday, whenever they rehearse.
Right. Those are all things to consider and to factor in, especially depending on how far you have to drive to get there, because it may not be worth it for you. You got to understand that if just because a church, let's say a church is 30 or 45 minutes from where you live, and that church is like, yo, look, well, we're paying $150 for you to play drums, one service, one rehearsal, where our service is 90 minutes long. Can you do it? Now, to many drummers, that may be worth doing. It's 90 minutes plus, especially if they live close. But you live 45 minutes away, and you may have an SUV that eats gas. It's not their fault you live that far.
That part.
You may actually it may just not be the gig for you. It may just not be worth it.
That part.
So,
I know we wait till the end to answer questions, but some of these questions are actually on topic today.
Okay.
Good job. Willie Spookcap says, should we get paid for playing at rehearsals? That is preference. I know that I tend to charge at least $25 per rehearsal, but I factor that into the whole amount. So if they offer me, let's say they're like, hey, we're going to give, like you said, $150, one service, one rehearsal. I'd be like, well, $150 is the service. And then if you throw an extra $25 because I'm driving.
Right.
Then
so I mean it's I mean that's
but on keys it's like $100.
I wouldn't, me personally, I would never go in and say, well, I'm charging this much for Sunday and this much for rehearsal. What I would say is, how many rehearsals we have a week? And it's, oh, we do one rehearsal and we have service. Cool, this is my price. I would just say what the price is for the whole thing. I would just factor it in.
Don't say,
because I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna miss a rehearsal every now and then. Every blue moon, you don't want to be docked because you missed rehearsal. I mean, especially when you get like,
I don't get docked.
Exactly.
But I be consistent the whole
That's
time.
what I'm saying though. It's not that you're gonna take a bunch of rehearsals off. You just set a price for the whole thing, and then you go in and you do your job. You do it well. You show up on time. You know the music. You're a nice person. You're friendly with everybody. They like you. Then it becomes part. They like you.
That part.
They care about you, and they see value in you. And so that week, you've been so consistent, but that week you actually decide, hey, I'm not going to be able to make rehearsal for whatever reason. Then they're going to be like, oh, it's all good. You good. We'll see you Sunday. And then they see you Sunday and you still show up because you still learn the stuff. You still do what you're supposed to do. And it's good. But instead of having that whole, well, you didn't show up on Tuesday, so your check going to be $50 cheaper.
Hey, listen, I know a couple churches.
I know a couple too that, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, at the end of the day, even with those, I promise you, if you go in there and you do your job right and you have a good attitude, and you are likable, and you play well. I mean, all of it matters. Like, you could be the most likable guy on the planet, but if you're not good at what you do, if you don't show up knowing the stuff, then it's like, it doesn't work. So number one, get better. That's number one. If you're trying to like increase how much money you can make playing in a church, get good
or quit.
Christopher Fields says, not gonna increase how much.
He says, my church doesn't have a band rehearsal. They send music, expect perfection, but don't want to pay you for your time learning this stuff on your own.
Okay, this is why you factor it all in. Like, I mean, and I don't know how much time it takes you, because at most churches, there's a learning curve in the beginning, because they may do songs that you may not know in the beginning. But after you've been there for about a month or two, they get into that cycle and that rotation of songs that you have done before. And they might throw in a new one once a month, or, you know, whatever the case is, as the singers are learning new songs, and the job becomes much easier. So I think that if it's taking you, I don't know how long it's taking you, but if it's taking you
Like the
2-3 days to learn a song, then
read Blake the Great's most recent comment.
that's when I put the whole boxing glove of that's when I put the whole boxing glove of God and have His way with it. He puts on the boxing glove of God, not the whole armor, but the whole boxing glove,
And let these cats know.
and have His way with it.
Like, bruh.
At the end of the day, you want to factor all of that in.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask them, "Hey, what's the service? The service is an hour and a half. Okay, cool. We got one rehearsal, and so you're gonna spend a few hours a week going over the music. Factor that in.
Factor it in.
But don't be silly and outprice yourself and never get an opportunity.
That part. Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we have so much pride and entitlement, we haven't even proved our value yet.
That part.
You got to improve your value. You got to prove your value. Show that what you're doing is worth it. Make yourself irreplaceable.
I think that kind of leads to Willie Smoothcat's question. He says, "Do you get paid more if your skills are better?" Basically, he didn't say it like that. I'm just right.
In most cases, because what happens is, like I'll put it to you this way: there's a drummer who is a local legend out here. I have immense respect for this drummer, and he doesn't even play as much anymore. But he had a reputation. This is how crazy it was. He had a reputation for no call, no showing on gigs. Like he would say he's gonna be somewhere and not show up.
Come on, man, you can't throw the homie under the bus like that.
I didn't. Did I say any names?
But everybody we know who you're talking about.
That's fine. This is not anything. Okay, so if you know me and you know me, you know I'm not saying anything that I haven't already said to him. But I asked him. I said, "Yo, when he plays though, his groove, his feel, everything is phenomenal. It's one of the best. Like out of all the drummers in the world, he is still to me
my favorite.
One of like, yo, this guy he's in my top.
Period.
And he would no call, no show, right? And still get calls. I would be like, how do you still? These people are calling you left and right. Even the people you no call, no show, they still want you. You have literally made yourself irreplaceable in that way. Now, I'm not saying that you should no call, no show. My point is there is something to being so good at what you do, being so likable, and making the music feel so good that people will call you. They'll remember you, and they will want you over. They could call the person at $70 that they know that they can get for $70, but they want you because they've experienced you. And once they know what you can do, they can't unknow that. That's what you want.
Really smooth guy said that's that bullshit.
Exactly.
You know what it
He's
is.
the only person on planet Earth that I know that has
no call, no show, and still get calls.
That has no. I don't know
how
has a great how he's done it
for you, since you do those type of things on YouTube.
What did he say?
Your fellow lineman.
Sam Campbell. What did he say?
I thought you was gonna read this.
I'll read it. What is a fair price to charge extra for setting up the stems in the worship set, setting up loops and MDing? Base salary is $150. How much more are you charging?
So now let me
He's MDing.
Okay, so I'm about to break that question up. How much would you charge if it was just setting up stems and loops? That's one. How much extra would you charge as an MD? That's the second thing. And then how much would you charge to be an MD that also sets up loops?
I don't feel like this is a question that I should answer with dollar amounts. The reason why is because it all depends. It all depends on who. Okay, so if I'm playing for a small church that
you can't answer,
you can't answer this. I mean, I could tell you what I get paid or what I would charge, but it wouldn't mean that that's what he could or should ask for.
He said his pay is what's his base pay? One. Oh God.
Yeah, that's a little.
But he's on drums. He's MDing from the drum set, I believe.
But still, if he's MDing from the drums, but he's also.
So let's put it there. You're getting $150 as a drummer, right?
He plays at the church, right? This is a church we're talking about. Because I know Sam does also.
He does it. Oh yeah.
The cover band gig and does all the same type of work.
It doesn't matter what gig it is.
Okay.
You're on drums. Yep. They're already paying you $150. Mm-hmm. Now we come at you with we understand you play multiple instruments and you can tell people what they need to play. Ooh, you're gonna be MD. And you have the ability to do loops because we need to have stems and wooty wah. So instead of paying for the tracks or whatever, we can have you do it. So now you getting 150.
Right.
What are you charging?
It all depends. There's so many factors. Now I already like, okay, is this
a base dollar amount out there?
It depends. This is why, like, is it a one-off gig?
No,
this is a regular gig.
Yeah, this is consistent.
So if it's a regular gig, I would probably at minimum, bro, I'd probably start with double what he's getting. To do that every gig. Once you kind of have it set, I mean, and if there's different songs, you got to run the stems and do all of that and do all the setup. As a drummer, they would have to pay me at least double. As a keyboard player, organist,
quadruple.
It's another conversation.
It's 900.
This is why, like, listen, at church I play keys. At church I play organ, and at church I sometimes play drums.
$13.50 a service.
I don't make $13.50 a service.
Yeah.
I don't make that.
Make $13.50. Oh, you make $13.50 just for backing up the preacher. $1,500 per
wow,
service.
This guy, you are wild. I really think it depends. It depends on the situation. It depends on the church you're playing for. It depends on if you've proven your value yet. One of the things that I would do is if I was new somewhere and they didn't know me, they didn't know what I can do, I would say, hey, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to show you guys what I could do for the first few weeks, couple weeks, maybe a month. And after that, we need to talk about, upping the pay and to something that would be more comparable to the work that I'm doing. And, at that point, I would prove what I was able to do.
Two things
you have to show and prove.
Well, two things you have to be prepared for if you guys gain some confidence to walk in there and start making demands. Be prepared for those. Number one, they may just say no. Number two, you may need to walk away because like I said, I was broke for 10 months. I had no gigs. I walked away and set a standard for myself. But I was fortunate enough to be living at home with moms and pops where I didn't have to pay bills. Mm-hmm. If you got to pay bills, if you got a family, if you got kids, you probably can't just walk away from this gig right now. You probably have to keep that gig until you find another situation that will pay you what you're worth.
Right. And so, and you're starting to say things that are eventually going to lead me to where I'm trying to go. Because this is just one way that we're talking about. And the reason why I like this way of playing in church, because it's every single week they're going to have service. And so that means you're going to get paid. And I'm not saying that you should quit your job and this is how you make a living for life. No, you do not ever want to work somewhere forever as your livelihood for $100 or $150 a week. Like, it's no money. But it's one of the things that you can do to make money as a drummer. It should never be the only thing that you do to make money as a drummer. Now, another way that you can make money, of course, on the local scene, cover bands, wedding bands.
All day long.
These gigs pay. Now, some cover bands may not, but don't pay as well. But if you work yourself into the scene, find out where your local rehearsal studios are. And when I say local rehearsal studios, most major cities, I'll say at least, and semi-major cities have rehearsal studios like the one we're in right now, where there's a bunch of musicians in a bunch of different rooms that practice. You can meet people that way. You can find out where the wedding gigs are, the wedding bands are, and you can get hired or become a part of the band. A good wedding band can easily pay you $300 to $500 a gig, and wedding season for those bands, and they do corporate gigs too.
Or that one guy that's making $2,000 to $4,000 a gig.
Yeah, those are fewer far and in between, but that's still because you're gonna a good wedding band is gonna do 60 gigs a year.
That part.
And if you're getting 60, I'm talking about weddings, corporate gigs, festivals, stuff like that. When I say festivals, private parties. When I say festivals, I'm talking about like your local festivals where your fire department's putting on a whatever, and your band is there playing, but you're making $300 to $500 that day.
Yep.
And on a cover band, you're playing 3 hours of music, typically 2 1.5 hour sets, maybe 3 45-minute sets of pop music. It's front loaded with a lot of rehearsal and a lot of practice because you got 40 to 50 to 60 songs you have to learn.
And you got to be there at 9.5 hours early, but it's okay.
But I mean, I'm just saying it is a it is a way to make money. Cover bands. So playing in church, cover bands. Another way to make money on your local scene is clubs. Now, when I say clubs, I'm talking about the clubs that pay people to be background music while people are getting drinks. The restaurants that pay you to play and be background music while people are eating. Those are if you can find a residency, you put a, but you got to put the band together though, or you have to have a band that's already doing that. You can go show up and your band will probably make $300 as a band. As a band, so you'll want
coupled with the church service and the cover band
and tips that you'll get. And when I say as a band, you don't want a huge band. You would only want to be playing with at least 3 guys so that you know you can get $100 and a free meal for playing that gig, right? Mm-hmm. These are ways that people make money. So coupled with that, we're still not talking about amazing money here yet. What we are talking about though is, let's say you get a cover band, and it's, when I say cover band season, is like April through
December.
Pretty much. It gets a little slow around November, October as wedding season begins to end, but it really picks up again towards the end of October and all of December because of all the corporate holiday parties and all of that. I'm talking from experience. I've lived this. I've done it. Styx still does it.
Whoa! I'm putting my business out there like that.
You play gigs. You're not a gigging drummer?
Family.
Are you not a professional drummer? Are you not a professional gigging drummer? Are you not a professional gigging drummer that plays gigs?
Are you not playing gigs as a professional musician? To pay tithes and offering at Drum Tracks app. Okay?
At the end of the day, this is the point. The point is, when you put all this together, when you're working, it's a lot of work. And this is why we say sometimes when you're playing and you're trying to make a living just as a musician alone, you end up not practicing because you're just spending all your time learning music and playing gigs. But this is how you can make money. So we're talking about it.
You can also teach private lessons.
Teaching private lessons.
Find a local music store that offers it.
Yep.
Or another.
Or build your brand and grow it yourself.
But if you go into a music store, what they're looking for is you to already have the students. Don't think just because you're a good player or even a great teacher that you could just walk in and be like, hey, hire me. They're gonna be like, for what? Like, you have to hunt and get your own students, your own situation.
But if you do that, you'll be in a good situation. I mean, you can charge. What are people charging in California these days?
It's up to $140 now per month. Between $120 and $140 per month for a half-hour lesson every week.
Wow! Wait, $140 a month for a half-hour lesson
per week. So
and people think that $9.99 on the Drum Tracks app for 300 lessons. Plus 300 plus lessons, plus new lessons coming, and all of the tracks at that
50 tracks,
and growing. I actually made some new ones this week.
There was a shed camp on there, isn't there?
Wow, there's exercises and workouts, and that's only $9.99 a month for now. We're gonna listen. If they don't pay the $9.99 in a little bit, it's okay. We're gonna jump up to $19.99, but we're still $120 cheaper.
That part.
Than the lessons you get in person.
You better, I'm saying.
But anyway, back to what we were saying. If you want to make money as a drummer, you can teach private lessons for $100 to $140 a month per student. And that's a half hour once a week with each student.
That part. I mean, if you do an hour, it's just double, right? So I mean, it used to be $25 per lesson, which was $100 a month. And then, they slowly started increasing from 25 to 30 to 35. And then some people just charge what they want to charge.
It's like just, 75 a lesson now, right? No, it's not 75.
Well, I mean, some people have done 75 a lesson. I know some people that have done $100.
Well, we know like the quote unquote celebrity drummers.
Oh, that's 200. Like 200 per lesson. That's starting. You starting off.
Yeah, you want to go share with, the Ronald Bruner types who are really, really like world class.
Yeah, it's 200 for the hour minimum.
Yeah,
like that's
and people pay it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, it's Ronald
Bruner.
Bruner.
Artists, they'll pay for that, which I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you pay for that. Get out there, and what do they tell you to do? Practice. What do you think they did?
Period.
Practice. They put in the time. They did the work.
It's not rocket science.
It's not. You got to do the work.
But sometimes they want you to. They want you to.
Willie, go ahead.
Sometimes people just want to hear it out the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying? Out the person that they've been looking up to. So I got one last thing though.
I was gonna say, Willie, I can't remember who said it. Someone said you could make money as a clinician, doing clinics. I don't know if that was Willie Smoothcat.
Yep, you can.
Yep, that was him.
You can make money. You can make money doing clinics, but you got to have that still requires more skills than just being good at the drums.
True.
Like I don't want you guys to think that just because you got good, all these things just happen automatically. It's not the way it works. You still have to go out there and put yourself out there. You have to show that you were good in different situations and settings. And even for people who are, I know some drummers who are ridiculously raw on the drums who have not done a drum clinic ever. And a lot of times,
I know some clinicians who have not been raw on the drums ever. That's all over the world, all over YouTube. You're like,
oh, you're doing clinics, huh?
Okay.
But at the end of the day, here's the thing: a lot of us dream about playing with a big A-list artist and touring the world. And the way we feel like we have to go about that is moving to LA, moving to Nashville, moving to Atlanta, to New York, wherever we feel we need to be, because that's where all the major gig opportunities are. And granted, there are big gig opportunities there in those places. And there's nothing wrong with moving there to pursue that. But I think that you can find another way to do it. And it's what would be considered the harder way, but it to me is the more sustainable way, and it leaves you with more control. It is by finding an artist that you feel is dope already.
It's quiet.
And grow with them.
That requires work. If they're not even working on the drums by themselves, how they gonna work with a team?
Any piece of advice that requires work, you immediately.
Oh, they're not gonna. It's not gonna happen, Brody. You are as strong as your weakest link.
Sure.
And if you are not working on yourself, then how are you going to work with others on building a project?
Sure, I 100% agree. But I'm saying for the 1%. Well, the 1%.
The 1% is going to run into a whole bunch of people who don't practice and be like, I can't.
Well, I'm gonna share with the 1% what they should be looking for so that they can look for other 1%ers.
Okay, here we go.
Now, for you guys, if you could find an artist that you feel is dope, that actually wants to go somewhere, and you want to go somewhere, and you guys team up and say, you know what, we could probably go farther together. And you
Bishop Bailey in the building.
and you decide at that point that you want to build something, and so you start working on music, you start putting this stuff out yourself, you start building your own fan base, you start building your own following. See, that there's a thing about building a fan base that people don't understand. Building a fan base is literally like investing in any other type of asset. An asset is something that brings you money. Like if I buy a house and rent it out, that house is an asset because it's giving me income, right? I put money into the house that is safe in the house, and it's giving me back monthly income. But as artists, our asset, our main asset, the thing that gives us money is the fan. And if you invest in a fan, of following, people who love what you do, they'll pay you. So instead of looking for someone else to bring you gigs, this is a wild thought.
It's crazy.
You can make the gigs yourself. You can make your own gig. And if you made it, nobody can kick you off the gig. You don't have to worry about if the church is going to pay you $60 or not, because you have built your own gig.
But most people don't want to do that work, though.
It is work up front. But guess what? I'm not talking about
I'm talking about building fans.
I understand. And it is
free work.
It is. Listen, it's an investment. So you keep looking at it. When you say work, it's evident that you're looking at it the wrong way, or they're looking at it the wrong way.
I was talking with someone in the gym today, one of the homies, and he said, bro, I know to build my fan base, I got to hit Instagram. And he only has like a couple other, he has Instagram, and I think just like YouTube and Facebook. He doesn't have Twitter and he doesn't have TikTok. He doesn't have Snapchat. Nothing else, just those three. He said it to my face. He said, bro, I already know that's the way to do it.
Yep.
I hate that. I hate that shit, bro. It's just irritating going on there and posting and doing the right hashtags and posting at the right times and and the videos
and maybe even investing some money, right? But people don't want to invest in a fan base because they are like, well, I'm not 100% sure that it's going to pan out. Well, here's the truth.
He said, man, all that for free? Like, come on, man.
So you don't want to invest. He's short-sighted. And he's not looking at the track record of what happens to people who do invest. Most people who say that they're doing it are not doing it. Here's the thing. When you invest in anything, it's never 100% sure that it's going to happen.
If you invest in the Lord,
oh my goodness! Not in the Lord, but in the
He'll
Lord.
never leave you. Nor
because I've never seen the righteous. My God, on today.
Turn on the organ.
Listen, and while you're at it, hit the like button. Now,
that part.
If you invest in yourself, in your own band, in your own fan base, if you invest in those things, you will reap the returns with people showing up to your shows and buying tickets. Imagine going to a club and saying, "Hey, we want to throw a show here. We can pack it out with 500 people. We want the door. You guys can have a bar." You're not going in there asking for a gig. You're going in there making a deal with the owner because you're bringing him some benefit and he's giving you some benefit. And if you can sell those tickets, it's 100% sure that he's not going to trip about the venue costs. Most times, most cases. And I'm talking about smaller venues right now. When I say 500, that's considered a smaller venue, right?
That part.
Or even if it's smaller than that. Even if it's a venue that can only fit 100 people, and you say, "Hey, man, we're going to bring 100 people in here. Let us use the venue for free. We'll split the door with you. We're selling these tickets for $15, and we
can only bring 100 people if you have 100 people.
But you can only bring 100 people if you have 100 people to bring, right?
Right.
What I'm saying is, if you invest in your fan base, you can do that. And not only will they come and buy tickets, but they'll also buy your merch when you're not even performing.
See, most people don't want to do the work, and then those who do the work are easily depressed when it doesn't become extremely successful.
If it doesn't become extremely successful right away.
Right away. You had a conversation, which I also had a conversation with the MD of an artist that she brought out. How do you say it? Samote with a T or no T? Okay. Either way, on Instagram, I remember when he didn't have a lot of followers.
Yeah.
Now I think he got the blue check mark, right? I was talking with the MD. I don't know if he said the same conversation with you, but MD was like, "Oh, bro, we play everywhere.
Yeah.
Like we show up and there's 3 people there and we put on a full situation because we're gaining the fans. So if we can just get those 3,
it's an invest. Yes, I worked hard that night, but it's an investment. Now those 3 fans are not just regular fans; they are my apostles,
right?
And they go out and spread the word and the gospel of Samo, because he's the artist that was performing that day. And that's what they do.
All you need is 12. That's
listen, there's a whole religion that is on the planet
the
Earth, but it all started with just the 12. Listen, you don't need everybody on your side, but if you just have 2 or 3, my God, I feel a shift.
Oh, glory
in the atmosphere on today.
So they did the investment, and now you look at it, his social media is much bigger. And I seen that he got the call to be on the Brandy tribute situation. I don't know if that I can't remember what station was on. I don't know if it was BT, VH1. I don't know what it was on, but he was on a Brandy tribute on national television.
There you go.
And he's able to put together his own shows, his own tours. He's not the only person that has done it.
Right. But here's the thing. Making money as a drummer or making money as a musician, what I'm saying is, if you guys are just waiting for someone to book you and hoping that that's the way to go, it is a way that you can go. But it is 2019.
It's not the only way, bro.
It is 2019 and it's about to be 2020. We have so many tools for you to create your own gig. We spit creativity all day, and we talk about doing what you love. You don't have to go play. Like for me, just keep it 100% real. There are certain gigs that I have played and do play sometimes where I really don't like playing the music. I don't like it. I do it because,
like this time you played the Michael Jackson tribute band.
I never played in a Michael Jackson tribute band.
My bad.
And I would gladly play that legendary music.
You would hate
now. But here we go. Like I'm saying, though, there are some gigs that I've played where I'll be like, yo, man, I really don't like playing this music. And it doesn't feel like fun. It feels like a job and I'm just doing it for the money. But that's not how I want to live my life. I want to live my life as an artist, as a creator, as somebody who creates my own world. That's the whole thing. It's like lifestyle design. I'm creating how I want to live. I feel like my whole life is a big piece of art. Now, with that being said, there are other ways that I can create a situation for myself that is ideal to what I want. And we have the tools to do it now on the internet. And with everything that's provided to us, it's not as hard. It just takes some work and some.
Whoa. There you go again. It takes some what?
It takes some work.
They're not going to do it.
Let me finish.
They're not going to do it.
Let me finish.
Quit the drum.
It doesn't matter if they're going to do it. I have to tell them. It takes some work as an investment.
It's your show from here on out. I tell them to quit.
I don't say that. It takes some work as an investment. and you're not even 100% sure that an investment is going to pay off. But what will eventually happen is you'll learn as you go through the process. And then you'll be, because to me, it is just so much better to create the type of gigs and the situations that you want to be in, build the fan base that likes it. And it may not be your friends or the people that you're around right now. It's not even about them, though. It could be that there's a whole group of people waiting for you to do what you do, waiting for you to be who you are, but you're just stuck trying to play for somebody else, or you're just stuck thinking that that's the only way. Again, I'm not saying it's bad for you to play for somebody else. I'm not saying it's bad for you to go play a pop gig, but I promise you, there are so many things that you can create for yourself. Build it. It'll take time. It'll take work. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it, man.
Building requires work. They're not going to do the work.
Building requires investment.
You should just quit and work for someone else. The checks are guaranteed in the corporate world. You can be
and I mean, unless let's tell that to the people who was here in 2008, 2005.
If you start now in 2019, you can work like my boy used to work for the state.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with making money as a musician, though.
It has something to do with making money,
but not as a musician.
Listen, you can be a musician in your heart, and then you can work a job.
Hey, I'm gonna say this though. There's really nothing wrong with working a job. It's nothing wrong with working a job. I don't do that right now.
And I know some raw musicians who work jobs.
Yes, it doesn't mean that you're not a good musician or that you're not a successful person. Again, we have completely taken all of that ego and pride out of it. Like, it doesn't. If you're not a musician and you work a job, it doesn't mean you're any less valuable. But at the end of the day, we're talking to the people who want to make money as a drummer. You may be working a regular job right now. That's okay. What I'm saying is, instead of waiting for that call all the time,
just quit drums and get a second job.
That's not what I'm saying.
Bro.
Instead of doing that, you can build something on your own. But you got to be good.
They're not gonna do the work. You're not gonna have the patience. You're gonna be swayed easily to the side of depression when things don't go your way right away, because everyone has this microwavable thing. Like, even if you look at people like Samo or anybody else, people like Dirty Loops, people like Corey Henry, most people discovered them when they got big. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm on him. Like, yeah, I've been following for a minute. It's like, but you wasn't following Corey Henry when he was on ShowMeThat.com as a 17-year-old organ player. He was raw, but didn't have a following, right? Mm-hmm. Then, of course, as time goes on, mind you, he did put out like a little Christmas album back then, during the church.
Yeah.
Whatever. You didn't hear about it.
I did, actually.
You did, but most people didn't. Most people found Corey Henry when he did the Snarky Puppy solo, which was a raw.
But he was already building.
He was building. What I'm saying is, people see him there and they think, oh, I should be that successful right now.
Yeah.
If my goal is, hey, I want 50 people to show up and only 10 people show up, oh, it's a wreck. You know what? Let's just not do this anymore. I don't want to be embarrassed like that anymore. Like, we did a show with our band where 150 people said we are coming. And the reason why we know that, not just word of mouth, we had tickets online where people was to claim their tickets, and they went to the link, and we had a list of 150 people. Mm-hmm. And you know what happened at our CD release concert? 25 people showed up, literally. Now, we could have just said, oh, you know what? We're not going to do any more gigs after that, because if only 25 people come out of the 150, what's the point of doing this? Was like, no, we're just going to go ahead and make sure that these 25 have the best experience of their life, and they're going to go tell the other people, like, I don't know where you was at, but you missed the show of the year.
Listen,
you should have been here.
Right now, there's 25 people on the live, but we still go in with y'all every week.
Come on now. 20,000 people that follow us. 25.
I think we have 28,000 subscribers on YouTube.
But, is that almost 30?
Yeah, and on Facebook, on Instagram, it's like 25.6 thousand followers, and on the app, there's like 45,000 registered users. However, we're here rocking with y'all because those of you guys, Jacquees, Sam, Dorama the drummer.
Oh, we fam now.
Yeah, all of you, Willie Smooth Cat, Blake the Great, all of you guys who continually show up, and even on the Facebook side, with Auntie Sheila and JJ McGee and all you. Listen, we here for y'all. And to us, like it's you're building something.
Bro, do you never just be at the house speaking in tongues?
No, that's what you be doing.
Neither do I, bro. I don't never do that. You know what I mean?
You be wildin', bro.
Brody, I'm
okay.
if you ever just
that's So yo, that bro, you gotta stop now. The
you was just singing off camera.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You can't.
We have a witness.
You can't prove it. There's no proof.
Bro,
it's 2019. If it ain't on video, it didn't happen.
You are a liar.
So
apparently, if it's on video, it still didn't happen. Doggone it.
So you definitely can't trust what's not. That's my point.
Bro, they taking us out on camera and just getting away with it.
JJ McGee says Molly Music had a slow building process like that too. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I don't know if
we actually played.
We were around for a lot of that.
Yeah, we saw many gigs.
We saw a lot of that.
For that guy.
Like when they moved out here to California, we were just around. We didn't play for them. We were cool with their musicians though. But we were on a lot of the same gigs because my wife my wife is an artist and she was performing in LA a lot around the same time as well. So it was like they're cool people. Their whole family.
We was there at the gigs where it was only 50 people in the church. Molly Music is there. Sometimes he would have a band. Sometimes he just rock with tracks. But there's literally only 50 people.
But my point is,
remember that one gig he did, with before he got up, one of the opening acts, right? We was also one of the opening acts. But one of the opening acts had a drummer playing a song at 6'8".
Oh, this was in the Bay.
And this drummer was so creative. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna use the other word. I'm not gonna demonize Chop.
You've already done it, bro.
No, you just did it. And everybody in the band was looking like this cat right here. Like, who hired this guy?
He was serious about it too.
Oh,
that wasn't Molly Music's band though. That was just some guys that put together. I don't think they were touring with him.
But they also, when they did that song, they was playing for somebody else. They was playing for another opening act. They was playing for Molly too, but they was playing for
they were like house banding it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we're the only one that came in and played for your wife.
Yeah.
That was it. We're on an extra band. This drummer was literally all over the place. Yeah. I mean, no, it was the most creative 6'8" I've ever heard in my life.
But the problem was how hard he was hitting everything.
And he was hitting the drums so hard.
He made
the ballad parts of the song where it's like, it's supposed to be a light break. You know how songs break down?
Yeah.
Just vocals and keys.
Right.
It's like, bro, what are you?
All of the Bay Area homies was like, bro,
what is this guy doing?
Everybody was on the corner weak. Like,
I said, yo, the next time we play, I owe you everything. I'm going in, family.
Goodness.
That's what's going to happen. I don't care what nobody says.
Goodness.
I'm about to owe God everything. And I'm about to show him all that I have.
Listen.
Oh, that was great.
Listen, at the end of the day, man, there's many ways that you guys can make money as a drummer. My favorite way, though, is while you're playing your church gig, while you're playing your cover band, while you're playing with your local artists or building something, while you're doing all these gigs, my whole thing would be to build your own thing. Exactly. With a group of musicians that want to build with you, create your own gigs, create your own situations. Don't be dependent and at the whim of everything else. Because at the end of the day, 90% of the gigs you play, and 99, the only percent that's not a temp gig is a church gig as long as you do right. But every other gig that you play is a temporary gig. Even these artists who are on tour with Rihanna and Justin Timberlake and all of these A-list artists, temporary.
Because these people were playing for
temporary gigs.
I just seen.
And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go for it. Go for it. Like if you land that, I'm gonna be cheering you on the whole time. Like real talk, go for it.
But you just notice, switching musicians.
They switch musicians all the time.
Yeah.
Like if
the great says he didn't know you was married because of all those other sites you've been on.
Hey, listen, there's a lot.
That you knew who Cherokee and Pinky was,
bro. I keep telling you I don't know who they are. I've never met these people. You're the one who like I don't know them. If somebody was like, "Do you know?" I can't say I know them.
Have you heard of West Coast Productions?
No,
you're lying.
I've never like. I mean, what rappers come out of that? Like I don't know what you're talking about.
But there was no rapping.
Okay, well,
more of unwrapping.
Well, then I definitely listen. I've never heard any music from West Coast Productions.
So you never heard of Promise?
No, who's that?
Okay, he's lying.
Okay.
Jacque says he's been here since day one. That's a fact. He's been here since season 1
of Drumfield Friday and Drumfield Tuesday.
Yeah,
listen,
when we was doing play along promos.
At the end of the day,
Damani Rhodes play along.
Do you go to drum lessons every week?
Learn a new groove, chopper, exercise.
What's
facts?
Musa and
no,
Genie said sticks just
we gonna see right past that. I saw that. Callie Mike Luke says, why can't musicians take pride in their craft, no matter if they like the music or not?
They can. Zion says, can you be successful in a town with a population of 3,000? My answer to that is yes, because of the internet, not because of your town, though.
Over the question that he just said they can, and then he's like, I'm going to my question.
Who?
The one I just read. Why can't musicians take pride in their music, whether they like it or not?
They can.
But you didn't even laugh. He says they can, bro. Moving on.
So wait, time out. This goes into okay. You also said that I'm lying when I don't elaborate, but I'm not lying, because you said that when people ask me about Michael Jackson, I say he's a legend. Because I don't elaborate, I'm lying. But this is a pure example of how just because I say a one-word answer or a two-word answer or one-phrase answer doesn't mean that I'm lying.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
It is.
Michael Jackson's a legend.
Sam Campbell says, lesson of the day for the day: knowing your worth is a priceless asset to all of us as artists. Set a standard for yourself, but also be able to perform up to the standard you desire to be compensated. Deuteronomy.
Mike, listen, call it
24:15.
Call a text, Bishop. Listen, we gonna have Sam Campbell come up and do the altar call.
Oh yeah, glory.
Why is it that?
Ooh, I felt something. I don't know about you.
Oh, when you say it real fast, right?
You gotta say it.
That's
fast.
how you know.
That's a
That's how you know.
That's it for the questions on YouTube.
That's it, man. Shout out to Auntie Sheila. She's saying what's up to us.
Auntie Sheila in the building. Willie Smoothcat had a question way at the beginning. I think we did a podcast on it, but I'm gonna read the question. And if we didn't do a podcast on it, we can do a whole one dedicated to that once I find this question.
Seth Jones asked, have we played for mega churches? What size of a church defines a mega church?
We've played with your wife at a mega church.
We haven't done that. But I'm saying, like as regular, what size of a church describes a mega church, though?
Are they talking TD?
If you're talking, I've played at a church that had
or Christ Temple
over 3,000 members. Yes, I don't know if that's considered a mega church.
Oh, Willie, here's the question.
But I've been a regular MD at a church that has that many people. Go ahead.
Willie Smoothcat says, I was wondering, is it better to learn? Comments are going away. Learn to play the drums on your own versus going to school or someone teaching you. I think we did a podcast with Tim Metz about that.
Yeah,
right? I mean, the benefits of going to school.
That's the benefits of paying to go to college, though. When you say go to school, I'm thinking education, just drum education, period. I don't think there's anything wrong with studying with someone, but you have to.
He talked about that, I think.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, he can check out that podcast, but let's answer his question since he's here.
Okay.
When you're trying to learn how to play the drums, you're always getting a teacher, even if you're learning by yourself. If you're listening to records, those records are your teacher. And, so it is okay it's a good thing if you have a teacher, but if you don't, you have things around you all the time that you can learn from. Music. And using your own imagination and creativity, getting inspired by the things you see on YouTube and Instagram, you can learn by yourself. Is it better? It depends on you. It depends on your learning style. It depends on how you pick things up. But I'd say you can learn from a teacher. But even if you are learning from a teacher, I would say that's just one source and one perspective of music and how to approach the instrument. There's thousands with all the individual drummers and artists that are out here. So pull from them all.
Will the drummer says, am I late? Are you late? We started service
at 2 p.m. Service, listen, we are literally at altar call and about to have the benediction. Jacque Dixon says, get a teacher to hold you accountable. I agree with that if you need that. And a lot of us need that. Some of us may not, but a lot of us need some accountability.
That part. Any other questions before we wrap up here?
I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it on this end.
Nothing all right. From Facebook? Zero?
That's Facebook right here. I'm looking at. Yeah, I got to everybody. I think the last question
All right.
That's it.
All right.
All right, y'all.
The doors of the church are now open.
And we are going to have an offering as we as you make your way out. The deacons will be in the back with the baskets to receive offering on your way out. Listen, this is for the building fund.
Glory.
We have plans to remodel the fellowship hall.
We enjoy the money that jingles, but we rather get the kind that folds.
At the end of the day, listen, Drum Tracks app, you guys know what it is. The recurring memberships are coming. They're not here yet, but they're close. But you can still sign up for a one month membership on iOS. If you're on Android, recurring memberships are already here. It's already done.
Come on over to I felt that, Bishop.
It's already done. Listen, you can praise him in advance.
For those of you who are watching still currently, next special podcast is actually on Sunday. Not Monday. Sunday, 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. We have a special guest coming in. Jay McLeod says, who will match the seed that he's planting of
$1 million billion trillion dollars? There's so many zeros at the end of that. Listen, I believe there's one. We have listen, I believe there's and if okay, so if we don't got $1 million, we got 10 people with 100,000 in the house tonight.
Come on now. Lift up your hands and hold that check high.
Pock Chicken Head God said he's sorry he's late.
It's all good. Special podcast Sunday 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, not Monday. Next podcast is Sunday. Say it with me now. Sunday. I know you guys are trying to watch the game, but y'all go ahead and tune in to the podcast.
One good time.
The NFL will always be here, man, but we may not. So come on. Support. We might stop podcasts if you don't support. I'm just saying.
Yo,
he has church on Sunday at 2:30 at night.
Listen, and we're in California, so it's Pacific Standard Time. If you're Central Standard or Eastern Standard Time, that's an hour or two after that. So
yeah, 4:30, 5:30 p.m. your time. I mean, some people do be having evening services, but
that starts at like 7 o'clock. You know that.
Right.
6:30.
Come on. Man.
All right, y'all. We out of here on the YouTube side. Peace out to y'all, man.